I was just a normal Muslim teenager, proud of my faith, my family, and my culture. I never thought much about Jesus except maybe as a prophet mentioned in the Quran. He wasn't central to my life, but everything changed in an instant. It was a day like any other until the accident. I felt my body go limp, darkness closing in. I was terrified, but also strangely peaceful. I felt myself drifting away from everything I knew, from my prayers, my mosque, my friends. Then came the light, a warm, overwhelming glow that seemed to wrap me in love. It wasn't like anything I had ever experienced before. And there, standing before me, was Jesus. Not as I had imagined, but radiant, alive, full of mercy and compassion. He looked at me with eyes full of tears, as if he understood my pain, my doubts, my fears. And then I began to cry, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming realization. It was all about Jesus. The truth I had never known was revealed in an instant. As I stood there, bathed in that radiant light, Jesus spoke, not with words I heard, but with a deep knowing that filled my entire being. He showed me the love he had for every soul, including mine, a love so vast and pure it broke through every barrier I had built in my heart. I saw that his sacrifice was not just for Christians, but for everyone, including those who didn't yet understand him. He revealed to me the true meaning of salvation, how his death and resurrection opened the way for all to be forgiven, healed, and made whole. I saw visions of my family and friends, unaware of this truth, wandering in confusion and pain. Tears welled up as I realized how much they needed this message. The realization was overwhelming. My whole life's understanding shifted in moments. The Jesus I thought I knew from stories and hearsay became real, personal, loving, and alive. I knew I had to share this revelation, but the path ahead felt uncertain and scary. Yet Jesus' presence reassured me I was not alone. His love was my strength, my hope, and my calling. As I was gently pulled back toward my body, the warm light began to fade, replaced by the cold, clinical surroundings of the hospital room. I opened my eyes to the worried faces of doctors and nurses, the beeping of machines, and the sterile smell that was so familiar, yet now felt foreign. Tears streamed down my face as the truth of what I had seen and experienced flooded back. I cried not because I was afraid to be alive, but because I knew the world I returned to was still missing the love and hope I had just witnessed. My faith, my family, my community, they were deeply rooted in traditions and beliefs that did not yet embrace this revelation about Jesus. I felt a heavy burden, a desperate need to share the message that had transformed me, but also a fear of rejection and misunderstanding. The struggle was real between the faith I was raised in and the powerful truth that had been revealed to me. I knew my life would never be the same and that the road ahead would be difficult, but I also knew that I could no longer remain silent. Returning to my family and community was both a blessing and a challenge. I struggled to explain what I had experienced, the overwhelming love of Jesus that I now understood was central to everything. Many listened with confusion, others with suspicion, and some rejected my words outright. Yet the mission given to me in that radiant moment was clear: to be a witness, to share the truth of Jesus' love with those around me, even if it meant facing opposition and loneliness. I began to pray for strength and wisdom, seeking guidance on how to navigate this new reality while respecting my roots. The transformation was gradual and painful, but with every step, I felt the peace and power of the presence that had met me beyond death. This was not just about me, it was about opening hearts, building bridges, and bringing light to those still in darkness. I realized that Jesus' love was for everyone, transcending boundaries of faith, culture, and tradition. Living with this new revelation was a daily battle. The tension between my cultural identity and the truth I had encountered created confusion and pain. Friends and family often questioned my changed perspective, some with concern, others with anger. The fear of alienation was real, yet the love I felt from Jesus during that near-death experience became my anchor. In moments of doubt and hardship, I returned to prayer and reflection, drawing strength from the memory of his compassionate gaze. I sought out others who had similar experiences or questions, building a small community of support. Together, we navigated the complexities of faith, identity, and transformation. The journey was far from easy, but with each passing day, I grew more certain of the path I was on. I was no longer afraid to speak the truth I had seen, to live as a witness of Jesus' love for all people. Despite the struggles, I began to see the impact of sharing my story. Small moments of hope emerged, someone asking questions, a heart softened, a life changed. The love I had encountered in the afterlife became a living force in the here and now. I learned that transformation isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's in quiet, unseen ways. The courage to live authentically, to love boldly, and to speak gently can ripple out and touch lives far beyond what I imagined. Jesus' presence was no longer just a memory. It was a guiding light, illuminating my path even in the darkest moments. This light gave me hope for myself, my community, and the world. The journey of faith and love is ongoing, filled with challenges but also incredible grace and beauty. As I continued to share my experience, I realized the power of testimony. Stories have the ability to break down walls, challenge assumptions, and open hearts. My story was no longer just mine. It became a message of hope for others struggling with doubt, identity, and faith. I encountered people from all walks of life who were touched by the truth of Jesus' love, regardless of their background or beliefs. Together, we explored questions of faith, redemption, and grace. The journey also deepened my own faith. I learned to trust God more fully, to surrender control, and to live with compassion and humility. Through my testimony, I found healing, not just for myself, but for many others seeking light in the darkness. As I look back on this journey, from the brink of death to a new life filled with hope, I am overwhelmed by the eternal embrace of Jesus' love. The tears I shed were not just of sorrow, but of profound joy and gratitude for the grace that saved me and revealed the true heart of God. I understand now that faith is not confined by labels or traditions, but is a personal relationship with the one who knows us completely and loves us unconditionally. Jesus' love transcends all barriers, reaching every soul willing to receive it. My hope is that my story inspires others to seek beyond appearances, to open their hearts to the transformative power of divine love, and to find peace in knowing that it is all about Jesus. This is not just my testimony. It is an invitation to everyone searching for truth, love, and eternal life.